Okie doke. Well, it's 2:01, so let's get to it. Nadia, I am recording.
Great,
All right,
because I forgot to remind you.
all right, so let's do it. So welcome to our member open house. I'm Bill Kramer. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I see Alex gesturing.
You're good. I can hear
You're
you.
good? Okay.
Yeah.
So today's topic is LinkedIn for photographers. Joining us will be our marketing specialist and project manager, Nadia Kayatkina. Nadia has been with Wonderful Machine for a little over 2 years. She helps photographers with BAM plans, list builds, project pitches, and marketing partners. She was recently promoted to project manager, where she helps manage all of the photo editing, design, marketing, and publicity consulting projects we do for photographers. Nadia grew up partly in Russia, studied partly in England, and she doesn't share it on her LinkedIn page, but she's also a very talented actress as well. Our presentation will start with Nadia giving us an overview of LinkedIn. I'll then jump in the middle for a few minutes to tell you about our new client search tool. Then Nadia will finish up with a bit about how to look for clients in LinkedIn. Brian is going to keep an eye on the chat. So please type in your questions as we go along, and then we'll circle back to your questions at the end. And also joining us in the call, I saw Honor Brown, who's one of our photo editors. Somewhere there's Claudia. Oh, there's Claudia Calderon, who is our social media manager. Did Chris Mont make it? Chris Mont might show up. He's one of our client outreach folks. Any other Wonderful Machine staff members on board? Oh, there's Jen Warren. Jen Warren's in Los Angeles. Jen does a lot of photo editing consulting projects for us. And I just saw Chris show up.
Yep,
So
hello.
Chris is part of our client outreach team. All right, so with that, Nadia, please take it away.
All right, so I know everyone's super pumped. LinkedIn is, and Alex, I think Alex has heard a lot of this before, but thanks for joining. So let me first share my screen so you all can enjoy my amazing slideshow. Okay. All right, so LinkedIn for photographers. I mean, LinkedIn is the largest business-to-business content sharing social media platform at the moment, and it's been having a moment for almost a year at this point. It probably was peaking around the beginning of last year, and it's still the best place to network and to connect with potential clients and past clients as well. So let me just take you through. There's a lot of different features that LinkedIn has. I mean, there's like layer upon layer, and it can be a little bit confusing. So this presentation is just going to concentrate on the things that we have seen are important for photographers to have in terms of their presentation with their profile. So a great question. What should my profile look like? You've got a lot of choices that you can make. It's really like any of your other marketing materials. It's all about staying consistent with the rest of your branding. And the other thing about LinkedIn that's nice is that you're able to show a little bit of your personality, and clients can imagine what it would be like to work with you. So as you can see, Pedro, he's doing a great job because he comes across as personable. He's got a lot of information there, and he's got a banner that's showing his work. So you really get a sense for who he is. And similarly, is it David? Yeah, similarly for David, he's more minimal in his approach, but you still, you get a sense of who he is and how it might be to work with him. So your headshot, that's not really supposed to say show your personality. It's supposed to say show your face, but that's okay. Because you want to do, it seems obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people miss this opportunity for connection and to create a good first impression by having, you know, your eyes visible to whoever's coming across your profile. And I included these four because I think you could tell that they've all got a different personality, and you can also get a sense of what it might be like to work with them, which is really the point. So if you, of course, it's okay to have a full shot where you're like looking down or maybe with your camera, but I think that a headshot cropped in where your eyes are visible is just more telling of who you are, and it's, I think, going to make clients more likely to connect with you. So the banner, also a thing that a lot of photographers you would think would take advantage of, but don't currently, and I really recommend it. Claudia actually let me know. She's our social media expert in-house, and she said that really you should be updating your banner 4 times a year, I believe. And I mean, that's for everybody. And, you know, forget about photographers. It's such a great opportunity for you guys to show what you've been working on and kind of update, you know, everyone that you're connected with. Yes, the tagline. So the tagline, you want it to be descriptive, obviously, of who you are and what you do, but it's also a nice opportunity to stand out while you know, giving a good impression of who you are, not only as a photographer but as a person. So Julie, I really like her tagline. It's nice. You know what she does. You can really get a sense of how she is as a person. Based in Connecticut, you know, okay, and happy to shoot it. It's nice, like it all kind of flows. And then I thought it was quite interesting just to illustrate how unique you can, how personal you can make everything on your profile and still have it make sense. Jordana, the way she wrote photographer, I feel like that's very on brand and it works for her. You know, not something I would typically advise. I wouldn't say just put photographer, but the spacing and the look, it works with her headshot and her banner, and it's great. So featured, another thing that sometimes photographers, a great thing that you can have on your LinkedIn profile. Anya's doing a great job of you know, showing off her recent projects, and Kate Holiday is linking to, I think, a PDF maybe of brands that she's worked with, as well as her website. But generally, this is a really fantastic opportunity to have people just click right directly onto your website. So if you connect with somebody and they're looking, they click, you know, goes to your website, that's great. So how do you create engagement on LinkedIn? So again, some obvious things, but really good to do. You know, you want to follow, you know, if you're on a shoot, you meet some people, make sure you see if they're on LinkedIn. 9 times out of 10, they actually are. Most people that are hiring photographers are on LinkedIn, so never hurts to see if you can find them and follow them. You want to share to your own feed, you know, so all your network can see what you've been up to. You can also reshare and just create a community feeling. There's a feature called Stories now, which is like Instagram Stories, but it's not on your desktop. You're gonna have to access it from your phone, basically. But it functions the same way. You can share like behind the scenes. You could share any of your new work. So that's a good way to engage with your network. And you can also, you can and should, and I think Alex did this, you can join and be active in relevant groups, which I always recommend to people that I'm working with. So the next slide should have, okay, good. A few of those groups that you can have a look at. So obviously photo editor, creative director, and art buyer network, and APA, those are great. Photography industry professionals, all good. Prime Focus, women in photography. just anything where you can connect with not only other photographers, but the people that would be hiring you guys. And another thing to keep in mind is your analytics. So the shot on the left is from Bill's profile. I do believe it's included with free profiles as well. And you can, actually, no, I'm sorry. It's just the first level of paid LinkedIn allows you to see who's viewed your profile. And that might be something to invest in if you're really doing a lot of your connecting and networking on LinkedIn, because you can see who's interested, and I think you can also see how your posts are doing. But if you do have, I think there's a little bit of confusion between do you have a person LinkedIn or do you have a page? I think it's best to have both, because having a page will allow you to get all this other information that you could see on the right there. You know, you can post in there and see who shared and viewed it. You can also do that on your own personal person feed, but I don't think it's as in-depth.
Sorry, Nadia, to interrupt. When you say a page, do you mean a company profile as in addition
Yes.
to your person profile?
Correct, yes. And that's the end of my amazing slideshow. I'm gonna throw it over to Bill, and he's gonna go over our new client directory and generally share how we do our research and collect our data.
Great. All right, thanks, Nadia.
Sure.
Yeah, so I just want to sort of peel back the curtain a little bit and show you guys a little bit about talk a little bit about how we research clients, and also that we have recently, as part of our new website, launched a client search that you guys can have access to. So I'm gonna take over the screen for a moment. Okay. And so first I'm going to show you daylight. So we track currently about 17,000 client companies in the world. And LinkedIn is one of the main sources that we use to find companies. We use a lot of different sources, but LinkedIn is certainly one of the main ones. And it's one of the ones that we use to sort of verify those companies. LinkedIn provides a lot of information, like how many people work at that company, which can help us understand the significance of that company. You know, if we want to have all the biggest chemical companies in the world, and we are researching chemical companies, we can look at how many employees they have, and get a sense of the relative size compared to other chemical companies that we might be looking at. So LinkedIn has right now about 56 million companies. So in some ways it's sort of too much of a good thing. And we have to, whether you're an individual photographer or whether you're Wonderful Machine, you have to have a strategy for looking through, for mining LinkedIn for valuable information. We are currently tracking 3,000 publications, 7,000 agencies, and 7,000 brands. And the way we define those is a publication. We all know what that is. That's an organization who creates and shares news content. An agency is mostly an ad agency, is what we think of agencies. These are companies that promote other companies, broadly speaking. And they also include, in addition to advertising agencies, they can include digital agencies, public relations firms, graphic design firms, in-house advertising agencies. And then there's brands. So for us, a brand is just sort of a general term that we put on a company that is not a publication and is not an agency. So there are lots of brands that you don't really think of as traditionally as a brand. Like we think of Tide laundry detergent as a brand, but for our purposes, we track all kinds of companies, including the U.S. Marines, for example, or an architecture firm. Those to us are brands. So it's sort of a catch-all category for us. So this is Daylight. This is our internal database. So this is the data record for Comcast Corporation, and so we have them marked as a telecommunications brand, and we assign specialty keywords to that company, and we have their contact information and their website, Instagram, LinkedIn. And then we have the source where we found them, and then we have people who are linked to that company, many of whom are prospects, but there are all kinds of people. There are administrative people that we might send invoices to, that sort of thing. So internally, we track everybody who is significant to us at Comcast and link them to the Comcast data record. And then I'll show you our new website. So this is if you come to creativeinplace.com, you'll find the beta version of the new Wonderful Machine website. We are about a month away from launch. We still have some odds and ends to clean up before we officially launch. But we've been working on this for 2 years. When we built our current Wonderful Machine website, it took about a year to build it, and I thought that was an extraordinarily long time. This one is taking a lot longer because we're working with, instead of working with a web development company that was a little bit more robust in terms of staffing, we're working with one individual web developer who I've been very happy with, but it's a little bit of a slower process. And we've also been doing the design in-house, and we've been adding on a lot of features that our current website doesn't have. And every step of the way, there are adding the feature and then debugging and then adding another feature. And so it's been a laborious process, but I'm very happy with the way it's turning out. Just going back to Daylight for 1 second. At the moment, we've got 10 people doing the research, including Chris, who's on the call today, where we've got a number of different roles where we have people updating and adding companies, updating and adding people, sending emails, lining up phone calls or video calls. So let me just find my place here. So with the launch of this website, we've got now a client search. So if we're offering as a premium membership at the moment for $9 a month, we're adding on the ability to search clients. So we currently have 15,000 clients in this database, and we're just showing companies at the moment, not people. And so if you want to build a list, you can create with what we call a short list. So if you wanted these 3 clients, you could add them, you could tag them by clicking on their company name, and then you could do a short list by hitting find. And then you could then share that with one of our marketing specialists, and then they would provide the names for you. And we charge $8 per name. So I know some of our competitors make available all the names when you license their service. I'm a little uncomfortable with that because I feel like that has had some negative consequences for email marketing. A lot of the most popular, there's a small number of very popular prospects that end up getting slammed with emails, and those people end up unsubscribing. And so that's not really a good situation for photographers or the clients. So what we prefer to do instead is create custom list builds for individual photographers based on their interests and skills and what's appropriate for them. So we feel like we've got at this point, after doing this for 15 years, I feel like we've got the best data in the industry, but we are just careful about the way we share it. So on the client search, You can search, of course, by location. You can search by specialty. We have all the same specialties that we have for photographers, so that it's sort of a one-to-one match. Whether we're helping a photographer find a client or a client find a photographer, we can use the specialty keywords to help match them up. And then we also have type. So as I mentioned, we've got agency, brand, and publication. And then we've got the subtypes within each of those as well. With brands, we recently added on we recently modified the way we track industries. Before about a month ago, we were just using sort of just our experience to decide what kind of industries and or subtypes that we wanted to show. But after working so much with LinkedIn, I realized that it would be better to simply use their industries. And so even though there are a lot of them, there are currently 147 industries that show up on LinkedIn. I felt like this would sort of streamline our research process internally, and it would also help our photographers make sense of our information, especially if they're also using LinkedIn to prospect for clients. So let's see. So you might wonder, well, why would I want to search by industry? And so if you are a food photographer, for example, you could go in here and search for food and drink. So that's a specialty keyword that we have. But if you are truly a food specialist, there are lots of different industries that relate to food. So for example, if you go into our drop-down menu, you'll find not only food and beverage, but restaurants and food production and farming and fisheries. So this sort of granularity allows photographers to search for clients in a way that is much more specific. And for example, if you were to do, let's say you were an industrial photographer and you shot pictures for an oil or natural gas kind of company, it makes sense that you would send out a promotion to other companies in that same industry, because you're gonna be more likely to get hired by showing a project that they can relate to than just showing sort of any old industrial project. So for individual photographers, this degree of specificity of industry can be really valuable. So what we do in terms of our research is our target is to have 10,000 brands in our internal database. And if you do the math with 150 or with the 67 that we show, at the moment, we're just showing 67 of what we think are most useful industries for photographers. But if you divide 67 into 10,000, you get about 150. So on average, we are showing, our target is to research and show for you guys the 150 biggest or most prominent or most likely prospects for photographers, the 150 biggest companies that are going to be good prospects for photography. And of course, some we might have more and some we might have less, but on average, we're going to have about 150. And then we posted some articles along with the invitation. So we have an article about client types, brands. So this actually shows all the different brands. It's a little, or sorry, industry types. When you're in LinkedIn, I don't know if they show you a drop-down menu of all of them. You have to sort of search by name, but you can come to this blog post and see a list of all the industry types that we are currently showing, and then all the other industry types that we are currently just lumping into the other category. And then we've got an expert advice on job titles. And as Nadia will explain in the second part of the program, if you're looking for, if you're doing your own prospecting in LinkedIn, LinkedIn allows you to search by job title. And so if you're looking at a company, it's really important to know which job titles are going to be relevant, which job titles are people who are likely to hire photographers and which aren't. So we've got an article here that talks about publications, agencies, and brand job titles. And also within each, I've got these charts that can help you think about the relative value of these different job titles. So for example, at a magazine, you're going to run into lots of different job titles. Some of them are more senior, and some of them are more junior, and some of them are more valuable, and some of them are less valuable. So for example, I think photo editor or visuals editor is going to be the most valuable, but they're sort of a mid-level person. Of course, the publisher is very high level, but not at all valuable. And then there are lots of people in between. And so by having a sense of the sort of the landscape of job titles, it allows you to think about which ones are more valuable and which ones are less valuable. And depending on how much bandwidth you have to collect names, if you only have room to collect one name for every company, then you're going to want to really hit the sweet spot. If you have room to collect 4 or 5 or 6 names, you can sort of broaden your the types of job titles that you collect. And especially with brands, which Nadia is going to show you a little bit about, job titles can be tricky. With publications, it's pretty consistent from publication to publication. You're going to be dealing with photo editors and directors of photography. At smaller publications, you might just have art directors. And agencies are the same way. When you're looking at agencies, you're going to find very consistent job titles, whether it's art buyers, creative directors, producers, pretty much across the board at any major creative agency, you're going to have the same job titles. But brands, as you can see, gets pretty messy. In general, brands are going to have 2 different parts. At any big company, you're going to have a marketing communications people, and you're also going to have corporate communications people. Corporate communications people are primarily creating messaging for shareholders and employees, and marketing communications people are going to be creating messaging for customers. And so that's one good rule of thumb to just keep in mind when you're researching brands and corporations. So let's see, and then is there another expert advice here? And then of course we have the general LinkedIn expert advice that sort of maps Nadia's presentation. So with that, I will turn it back over to Nadia, and Nadia is going to just show how to look for companies and then how to look for people once you've got a company that you're happy with.
Yes, I will. Once I share my screen. Sorry, guys. I feel like I need some like elevator filler music here. All right.
Are you looking for the share button?
I know. I was looking. I have like 50 windows that I can potentially share. Hopefully, we're all looking at Bill's LinkedIn homepage.
Yes.
Okay, good. So when you log onto your LinkedIn, this is where you'll go. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about the feed, sharing to the feed, being active. This is it. And it's, and Claudia can speak to this more, but I would imagine checking in at a minimum, 3-4 times a week would be good, especially if you have a lot of clients that you follow or that follow you. I think it's a nice practice habit to get into. Also, this is the analytics for you. I think if you're premium, you know, not when you're free, but this is where you would go to see that. But let's move on to, say you are a photographer and you think, oh, you know, it's the pandemic, like let me promote my work to some biotech companies, or maybe you just shot something for Pfizer and you know, you want to share that project with relevant people who would care to see it. So for example, you could do a search up here. Just type in biotechnology, and that's going to take you to this. This is just a lot of, this is like everybody, every profile, every company, every person that has the word biotechnology in it. So obviously that's too broad. Nobody wants to go through that. So the first step is, if you just click companies up here in the filter, you'll take it down to 20,000, which is still a lot. So you just kind of work your way to the right. And for our purposes, I think it would make sense to the location to be United States. Should be less, that's good. And then we get to the industry, and we do want to select biotechnology in this case, but you have other options as well. And then that should really narrow it down, not bad. And just for fun, let's start with the biggest companies, and with 10,000 plus employees. How many? Okay, so that's not that many. That's 13. So you kind of want to see how many you'd get. Okay, now we have 24. I still think that's a little too few. So perhaps this will be a nice number that you could deal with. 57, I think that's pretty good. That's like a list that you could really work on if and when you have time. You're probably familiar with some of these. It's nice because you get some names that you do know, and you get some names that maybe you don't know, and maybe other photographers in your field also don't know, and so they're not really promoting their work there. So that's a good opportunity as well. So once you find a company that you think, okay, great, let's, for example, Amgen, how you get to their company page, and the question is, how do you find the right person? And this is that article about job titles is just going to be so useful for you when you are doing this. So when you are on a company's page on LinkedIn, if you click on people down here, you'll get a little search bar. And as you can see, I usually always put creative when I'm doing research, just sometimes it works. But for like brands, companies, it is kind of tricky. I like to start with something like communications or marketing or sales even. So if we did communications, let's see who comes up. But they recently added this. I don't love it. I wish, if anyone finds out how to get rid of this in your view, please email me. Anyway, so you scroll, and actually right here at the top, Janine and Susan, we've got 2 shared connections, which is a great sign, because it means that they're not totally in some other world, they're in our industry. So Janine is Director of Corporate Communications, which is, Bill just mentioned that as being a good job title. And Susan Rucci, Director of Social and Digital Communications, also good. So these 2 are at the top, and that was pretty good. If you scroll, you'll see kind of more, maybe Kelly is a little bit too broad, too high up. But yeah, I think if you do a search like that and you have 2 that work, and it's such a huge company as well, there's never going to be just one correct person. There's going to be multiple. So feel free to connect with however many people you find. Just for fun, let's try something more like that might make more sense to everyone, like producer. Oh, but I want to get rid of communications. I'll just name just producer. So interesting. Okay, well, there's Susan again, which is a good sign. Ed, media producer at Amgen. I think that's a pretty good result. And you can always click into the profile of the person and you can read through their summary and see if they deal with photography in any way. So he leads a small but mighty team who function as a boutique within Amgen. That's fantastic. You see here he deals with photography, photographers. That would be a great contact for anybody who was looking for a contact at Amgen. And then you would send it looks like we're already connected, but if it was somebody that you're not connected with, you would just send them, you can just click connect. And then what you would do is see if you can find their email. So there's lots of services that will do this. We use Rocket Reach and Hunter.io, but there are a lot. Any of you guys are welcome to reach out to me or anyone on the team to get help with finding something like that. There's a lot of stuff out there, basically. Then once you have their email, but even if you don't get their email, I mean, LinkedIn is still really valuable. So you should add them to your prospect list, to your sort of master prospect list. And then just send them an email once you get connected. And that's sort of how you grow your network. And I also wanted to mention something that I forgot in the my earlier slideshow, which is your sort of summary, your about. You want to make it, again, I feel like I'm being repetitive, but something interesting and lively. I feel like sometimes photographers feel, or people feel that LinkedIn is this place where you have to use like corporate lingo and be very stiff, but it's not really true. I think the about is really nice place to talk about what you like to do, how you got where you are, even clients you've worked with, just anything. That is basically what I'm saying is there's no real formula. My LinkedIn, don't look at mine. I'm doing everything backwards from what I'm saying, but I'm not a photographer, so mine is like very cold. But you avoid that at all costs. I think that's pretty much all for this presentation, Bill. Hopefully I didn't miss anything on this example search.
No, you nailed it.
Hooray. Okay, well then I'll stop sharing.
Brian, do we have questions? I see we have questions in the chat.
Yeah, we do. Darren Stello asked a question. Darren, do you want to jump in and ask it?
Oh,
yeah, sure. Thanks. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Nadia, Darren asked if you have any recommendations, whether it's searching with your profile hidden or visible.
I think visible. I mean, you want to connect with these people, and I think the searching is not super relevant if you're hidden or visible, but if you click onto a person's LinkedIn and they have premium, I mean, you just saw in the slideshow, Bill could see if you click on his site. But I think it's fine to remain visible. It's good. You want to connect with them. I mean, and theoretically they want to connect with you if they're looking for photographers. So back to Francesco's question from the beginning about if LinkedIn is valuable resource for travel or landscape photographers to find new clients or project opportunities. And like I said earlier, yes, it is. Everyone, I'm going to say, I don't know the actual number, but the majority of people who are hiring photographers do have a LinkedIn profile, and they do tend to be at least moderately active. And so, I think it's kind of self-explanatory why LinkedIn would be helpful to any photographer, but also travel and landscape to find clients and opportunities as well.
I have a question.
Hi, yeah.
Hi. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about sharing on LinkedIn? Like, shall we share from a website when you know articles? I know that on LinkedIn with the SEO there, it stays longer, like the whole engine. So if I write, is it better to write an article on LinkedIn or share it from my website as a blog?
I'm gonna see if, I mean, I have an idea, but Claudia, do you have any more specific knowledge on that?
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you everyone for being here. So I will basically recommend what do you want from that? What are you expecting from what you are gonna be posting? For example, if you want to increase your traffic in your website, I will always recommend you to have a brief of the article that you would like to share, and then you can post the article in LinkedIn, okay? If you want to do it, like if you want to increase your traffic to your profile on LinkedIn, just do it on LinkedIn. So basically it's based on what you are looking for. But I always recommend to do both of them. Like you can try. I always tell people like you should try to see what is gonna be better and how you can evaluate. That's why analytics are really important. So you can find that out basically on trying what is going to be best for you, because sometimes what works for us, maybe it doesn't work for you. So just try both options.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great. Thank you, Claudia. That's fantastic. Anybody else for any questions?
I have
I'm trying to think.
a question, Nadia.
Yes.
That's something that I've talked to some photographers about. I know you and I have talked about this, but it's good to put it out there. How would you differentiate sharing work between Instagram, between Facebook, between a potential blog on your website and LinkedIn? Should LinkedIn have a little more business, or should be more directed to clients versus Instagram that could be a little more personal?
So I see what you're saying. No, I think LinkedIn is still a social, a platform for social connection. And that's kind of what I was trying to get at with the whole concept of this, the idea of the summary being less formal, I suppose, or at least, you know, you can be more creative with it than you would think, because, you know, you're photographers and that's, you know, you're not like accountants, or nothing against accountants. But I think that with LinkedIn, I think you should keep your clients in mind. I mean, I think you should keep your clients in mind on all of those platforms. And I'm not entirely sure how useful actually Facebook is, now that you mentioned Facebook. Claudia, I hate to keep kicking this over to you, but I just feel like you know so much more of the social media landscape.
Can you
Maybe
repeat
Claudia,
the
is there
question?
like I just wonder if there's a different voice that a photographer should have across all these different social media platforms. Is
I
LinkedIn
was
more professional than Instagram? Is Facebook more, you know, here's a picture of my cat on the way to get Starbucks, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, LinkedIn has been changed since the pandemic hit. I don't know if you have seen, for example, the photos on some profiles on LinkedIn is a photo from someone who is at home with a sweater and not wearing this t-shirt. For example, this is something that has been changing in the last months. So I will always say yes. We always change our tone based on what we are talking on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Oh, from my point of view, Instagram and Facebook is more visual, for example. And on LinkedIn, people are looking for more content, for more value content, educational content where they can improve everything that they are looking for, right? You are looking for better strategies, for example, for photography, and how can I improve my business, right? So I would say everything is totally different in all these platforms. If you do the same on Instagram, it may be a little bit different from TikTok, for example. Or if you are doing something different on Pinterest, this is gonna be a different tone of voice from LinkedIn. So the answer is yes.
So Karen has, thanks, Claudia. Karen, you have your hand raised. Did you mean to do that? Is that?
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask a question too, if this is a good time.
It's a great time.
Great. I am wondering about the difference between doing an article and a post. I think one of them, I don't remember, allows you to post more pictures, but we've definitely found it a bit confusing as to which one is a better way to go. So I'd love your advice.
That's fun because I was just in preparation looking over some of the blogs and stuff, and that was one of the things that was like, what's the difference between the button? And I was like, nah, well, no one's gonna ask that. I don't need to check that. Does anyone else in the group have an idea about the article versus the post? I would think the post is going to be more visual than the article, right? Okay, good.
I heard that the LinkedIn algorithm favors the articles. And I think if I had to guess, it's because they want to keep traffic on their site rather than direct out to another site.
Right. That makes sense. That does make sense. Does that answer your question, Karen? Somewhat.
That's hearsay,
Sort of,
so
yeah.
I hope everyone does their own research.
Yeah, it's fine, Nadia. Maybe if you get some more scoop on that, I can follow up with an email. Maybe we can.
Oh yes, that'd be great. I'm happy to I'm always happy to learn something new in that regard too. But yeah, so posts are more for the images. Question from Jamie. Hi Jamie. Do you recommend emailing through InMail on LinkedIn or emailing directly? And is it recommended to connect with people immediately if I don't know them? So yes, so you should just send a connect to people even if you don't know them. As you saw earlier, that's kind of what our MO. That's kind of what we do a lot of the time, and it does lead to relationship building. And I think people know that that's what LinkedIn is for.
Can I jump in just a second,
yeah.
Nadia? I do find sometimes, because we actually do connect to just about everybody, every client and photographer in our industry, just out of force of habit. But we occasionally get responses from people saying, "Hey, I only connect with people who I already know. You know, why should I connect with you?" But I think it's pretty rare. I think most people, if they see that you're in our industry and that you might be relevant contact, they're going to connect with you. On the other hand, I get a lot of connection requests that I turn down. If there are people who are trying to sell me real estate or investments, or just trying to sell me something that outside of my industry, I don't connect with them because I don't want to encourage them, and I don't want to build my network outside of my own area of interest. So I think it is important for everybody to only send connection requests to people who are really relevant to their career, and you should only accept connection requests from people who are relevant. So because that's what's going to sort of strengthen your network. And when you connect to too many people who are irrelevant for you, I think it weakens the effect of LinkedIn.
Yeah, thanks, Bo. To the other part of Jamie's question, emailing through InMail or LinkedIn, I would, I'm sorry, emailing or using the InMail function of LinkedIn. I would view those as separate parts. I think that you should look for clients' emails or people's emails and put them onto your list and make it part of your regular email outreach routine. But it doesn't hurt to send an InMail when they accept a request to connect, because as Bill said, not everybody accepts people, and it's, I think it's nice. It's a nice gesture. If that means they looked at your profile, I would assume, and they thought, okay, this is somebody that that I'd like to form a relationship with. So I think you could follow up with an email in that case. In terms of the marketing, I would say to stick to actual email. And that is because sometimes people don't get alerts, and sometimes they have a LinkedIn profile and they don't check the messages. So, or they could have thousands of messages, and so they can't get to yours. So I don't know, Hannah, maybe you have some any expertise on that. Oh, we didn't introduce Hannah. I'm sorry. Hannah also works at Wonderful Machine, and she's got a lot of social media knowledge.
No, that's okay. I came in late. I kind of snuck in. So, well, I guess I'm thinking from my own personal experience. I think InMail can feel a little spammy sometimes. So for that reason, I would definitely email directly, probably in all cases, and then maybe a case-by-case basis for InMail. But I would definitely always suggest direct email. I think people just pay more attention to their email inboxes than their LinkedIn inboxes. Although some people are very active and check their LinkedIn inboxes, just as like a blanket statement, I think people are more attentive to their email inboxes for sure.
And
That's helpful.
And Hannah, is there some circumstance where you would do an InMail instead of an email that you can think of?
Maybe. Let me think, and if I think of something, I will unmute and I will tell everyone.
I'm sort of torn on this. This is something I think about as well. I'm a little torn. Well, first of all, if you are sending, if you're trying to connect with somebody and you don't have their email address, I think it's a good opportunity to send an email to send an InMail right at that moment. LinkedIn even prompts you by saying that people are more likely to connect with you if you send a message. I think that if you're an individual photographer and if you're sending a connection request to an art buyer, I think it's foolish to not take the time to send a message. I mean, I wouldn't say, hey, are you available for a meeting? Maybe do that after they connect with you. But I think just sending a message, hey, I thought you might want to see my portfolio because I do a lot of work that lines up with yours. I think a simple, relaxed message when you're making that connection is probably beneficial. But I'm torn about, once you have their Gmail account and you have their or their company email address, and you also, of course, have the InMail capability. I'm sort of torn. I think that if you've got their company email address, that's the best place to send an email, because everybody's expecting to get business emails through a company email address. A Gmail address, I would be a little bit hesitant. I mean, we internally at Wonderful Machine, we tend to use Gmail addresses when we have to, because it's better than nothing. But I think some people might be put off by getting sort of a business email on their personal email address, even though they put it in their LinkedIn. So that's just my gut feeling.
Mm-hmm. I want to say I have one other thing. For InMail, there's the premium InMail, and then there's just Bill, which I think you were just talking about, just kind of sending a message. So when I was saying previously, sometimes InMail can come off as spammy, I was referring to the premium version where you pay to get to the top of their inbox. That to me is sometimes off-putting, but just sending a message hello is definitely, I think that's great.
Okay,
just to clarify. Yep.
Thank you. I think that really, Bill, did you have another thing about that email?
No, but I had something else that I've noticed lately, recently in the last 6 months. I've been seeing, I mean, I don't really spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, but when I do, I in my feed, I've been seeing a lot more videos in the last 6 months. I don't know if this is my imagination, but in all honesty, they actually get my attention more than text or even a still photograph. And I sometimes find myself watching these videos. And I'm actually, I mean, I'm not a social media, I don't spend a lot of time on social media in general, but I find that the videos that I see on LinkedIn, at least my impression is that they tend to be pretty interesting and high quality. And I think LinkedIn is good at, and again, this sort of speaks to the idea of sort of nurturing your network. If you are connecting to people that are genuinely good, match up well with your career, you're going to get content that's relevant for you. But I find that the video content that I see is very relevant and really actually interesting. And that makes me think that, anybody who's a photographer has an opportunity, even if video is not your main thing, if you can create video content, I think it's going to get people's attention.
That's true. I want to make sure we get to Virginie's question. Jamie said, thanks, Bill. That's super helpful about your answer to her question. But Virginie was asking, what is the value of going premium? It's a great question. And actually, Scott, hi Scott, asked, are the search options that Nadia showed a part of the premium membership or the free? I believe you do have a search option with the free LinkedIn account. Oh, good. Hannah is nodding enthusiastically, so that's good. That confirms that. And the value of going premium is that, you get the analytics. I think that's one of the main things. Is anyone aware of, and also I think that,
the Sales Navigator is a paid feature, but
yeah,
when you were showing just how you can, you were moving left to right across the screen, going from company size to or employee number. That is, everyone has access to that.
right. But I'm starting to think, what is the value of going premium? I think for photographers starting out on LinkedIn, it's not necessary, especially because you can do that research that we were showing earlier without being premium. I think if you want to get the analytics, and I believe that there is another feature. I think I might be thinking of the InMail, the premium InMail as well.
But not Nadia. I mean, I've got 18,000 connections on LinkedIn.
Yes.
So as far as I understand, when I'm going searching for people in our industry, everybody in the industry is either going to be a first, second, or third connection to me. But if you're a photographer and you've got 400 connections, unless you have the premium service, aren't you? How limited are you in searching and sort of being able to actually see those art buyers and photo editors?
Well, I think it depends on your network, like you said. Even if you're a photographer who has a free account, but you have, I don't know, 5,000 or so connections. I mean, it's going to be the same.
Most photographers are going to have 500, not 5,000. So if you've got 500 connections, does that limit who you get to see in LinkedIn?
Well, naturally, because if it's based on, if the algorithm works in a way that it's showing you more, the more first connections you have, the more second and third connections you can view. And some people are able to set their preferences that who can find you, right? Like who can find you if they search for you on LinkedIn. I could say, I only want first connections to find me. I only want second connections, and so on. And so your results will expand in relevance and size as your network grows. But that's nothing to do with the premium. So you could still do that with a free account as well.
But the premium basically buys you connections effectively. Is that how it works?
Does it? No.
Then what is
I
it?
don't believe.
Then what does it do?
Claudia, how great that you're here today. Did I miss anything with premium that you can, the benefits of premium? And if you don't know, that's okay.
I will say that people can see who look at your profile. I don't
The
have a
analytics.
premium. Yeah. I don't have a premium. I use the regular LinkedIn. So yeah, I think that one is one more. Let me see if I can find one more. Give me one. I can also share it on the chat.
Okay, great. That's perfect. Thank you. And it's 3 o'clock. So Bill, I don't know what your,
Yeah, we should, we could probably do
Oh, Alex.
another question if anybody has any. We should sort of start to wrap it up. Does anybody have other questions? So, so Jamie's saying you can
Oh.
only search so much on a free account.
So it's a lot of stuff.
Does anybody want to shout out if you know? Mark, what can you tell us?
It's interesting. I'm seeing people say that, you know, you're limited how much searching you can do. Whereas it looks like with a premium account like the Bills, we could search, you know, forever. If you have a free account, perhaps you do like 10 searches a day, and then it's like, that's it, you've hit your limit. I don't know the number exactly, but so I suppose a premium account would be beneficial because you could do more research that way.
Okay. All right. Before we go, I want to see open it up. Does anybody have any questions about our new client search? Okay.
Thanks everyone who's leaving. Bye.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. Well, let's leave it at that. Nadia, thank you so much.
Chris.
Oh.
So Bill, can you speak a little more about our member photographers can help give feedback about the industry types Wonderful Machine uses from LinkedIn?
Yes.
Can they email us as to which industry types they feel are most useful and or not useful at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally going to be specific to each photographer. We just recently sort of switched over to tracking industries based on LinkedIn industries. One of the funny things about LinkedIn is that even though it expands the number of different types of industries that we've been able to track, some of the industries are a little wacky. Like, for example, casinos. There's an actual sort of gambling casinos industry in LinkedIn. But if you actually go and look at Harrah's or Taj Mahal, or all these casinos, they all list themselves as hospitality. So you have to sort of get to know each of the industries that are important to you and understand how clients or how any company selects their industry, because everybody self-selects. So somehow LinkedIn has chosen these 147 industries, but each company selects from a menu of industries. So it's sometimes inconsistent. But you can certainly email Nadia, and she can work with you to help you make sense of this whole thing, and especially as we learn it more and more. All right. So, all right. Well, let's leave it at that. Thank you all very much for attending. Nadia, thank you for a terrific presentation. Claudia, thanks for jumping in. Brian, thanks for helping with the chat. I can stick around for a little bit if anybody has any other questions on any topic, this or anything else about Wonderful Machine. I'm happy to stick around, and I'll just be the last person here. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much. This was a learning experience for all. So.
Great job, Nadia.
Thank you, Claudia, and thank you, Hannah. I should have, sorry that I called you out,
No, that's okay.
Letting you know before.
No, that's okay. Nadia, I actually wanted to show you something. So you know how sometimes when you go on LinkedIn, you see it'll just say LinkedIn member, and then it'll say like creative director at whatever company, but you can't find their names.
Blocked.
I have that issue all the time. So what you can do is you just take, like right now I'm looking at one for.
Can you share?
I can share. Yeah.
Are you able to?
I think so.
Okay.
Let me just see. Okay. Right? You guys can see? Okay, yeah. So it's pretty quick, but looked up Burlington Coat Factory couldn't tell you why, but that's what came to my mind. So, and I actually found a great example. So you just take that, which is normally not helpful information, and then you just take it, copy, and then we'll go to a new tab. You just paste it. There you go. There's the information. So
What? That's
Mhm.
great. That's like some wizardry
know.
there.
Yeah.
Good job.
Sorry,
Um,
can you do that again?
sure.
That's worth repeating.
James,
know.
you're smart for staying later, huh?
Yeah.
And Francesco and
Okay, we're still recording. Go ahead. Hannah.
Okay, it's okay. So Burlington Coat Factory. We see here, I want to know the creative director at Burlington Coat Factory.
Okay, so because of your limited network, you don't see the name.
Because of my free version, I do not see, and my limited network.
Okay, because like Nadia, if you were to do the same search, would you see names?
I can try right now.
All right, so go ahead, Hannah.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so you get here, and then I mean, we can see what else there is, but director of advertising. I mean, they're pretty high up, but still a good example. So you just copy that, and then it's a good old Google. Chris Miller, right? Senior Vice President Marketing. Oh, no, here we go. Director of Advertising, Jennifer Thompson Taylor down
Oh,
here.
interesting.
Yeah.
How did you learn that?
At another job before Wonderful Machine. Yeah, I did so much market research there, and so I learned some tricks. Yeah, but that's a good one.
Don't tell anybody.
I know I shouldn't. You guys don't tell anyone.
Late bird gets the worm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll end the recording a couple minutes early, right?
Yeah, right.
But then Hannah, from there, you're able to click on Jennifer
Mhm.
Thompson.
Yeah, so we'll go here, and yeah, it'll just take me to a previously inaccessible profile. I mean, maybe not. She looks like Jennifer's not very active, but you guys get the point. Then I can just connect and send a message, but like the other way, I couldn't. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's a little LinkedIn hack.
It's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
Very cool.
Good.
Okay, I'm gonna jump off.
Thanks, Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah, how do I? Hold on, I'm trying to unshare this.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming, Mark.
Thanks so much.
Good to see you, Mark.
Yep, you guys too.
All right.
James, what's up with you? Are you up in Maine?
Yeah, we got some serious winds coming in. This is, I guess, is like the start of a nor'easter. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I thought it left.
I don't. It's apparently it's blowing pretty hard outside, and I guess there's some cold coming behind it. I'm not used to this.
Are you still up by Acadia?
Yeah, I'm in Rockland.
James, do you know all the other wonderful machiners on here right now?
I recognize a few names from
Yeah.
some emails.
So James is a Florida photographer who a couple weeks ago took a road trip when we were having those like 0-degree temperatures up the coast, and was we're still recording, but I'll say it anyway. He was sleeping in his car in parking lots and freezing, but he made it up to Maine to hang out among the pine trees.
Yeah, I think I'm actually the only Florida car to have gone north on 95.
Like
Yeah,
ever.
At all.
Funny.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those days where you're texting me and you were like, you're driving DC to Philly, but I was like, there's 12 inches of snow outside right now. Yeah, it's a lot. But you're making some great work along the way. Every Instagram post you
it's
put up.
beautiful up here.
Yeah, that's right. My second favorite state is Maine.
What's your first favorite?
California, right? Yeah. I know.
Ew. No, I'm just kidding.
Or SoCal-based photographer. Yeah. He loves it there.
Yeah, California's a great state. Maine's second though. It's beautiful.
I've never been to California.
The same as Maine, mountains and oceans.
Same as Maine.
Yeah, it's just a lot bigger.
Someone was telling me the other day that California beaches are actually like no good for swimming. Anyone?
Baywatch will tell you opposite.
Better for surfing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
What's up,
hi,
Andrew?
hi, Andrew.
I told
Thanks
Andrew to
for
come
coming,
because this meeting is bumping into my Andrew meeting. So
Oh.
I told him to show up here.
This can just be your Andrew meeting. We'll just
Yeah.
watch silently.
I wanted to just briefly go back. Is Francesco, are you still listening? Because Francesco's question about the idea of searching for travel and landscape clients has stuck in my head. I don't know if we really fully addressed it. I think as I'm thinking about how we use LinkedIn, I think about looking for industries, looking for types of companies, which is different than looking for photographic specialties. So for like travel, there are a number of travel related companies. So if I were to go to, so there's hospitality, for example, which would be good. And there are, I'm just looking through.
Some of the airline industries,
Yes,
right?
that's good too. So I think in terms of travel, it's just a simple matter of sort of browsing through all the different industries and finding the ones that relate. Landscape is a little trickier. I mean, I think landscape has always been sort of an anomaly for us. Like we assign a landscape category to photographers, but it's hard to assign a landscape category to clients. So
I mean, what about like AAA and all that? I've seen, they want shots of.
perhaps. I mean, mostly it's sort of like I think about North Face or Patagonia, where there's a landscape, but there's somebody in there climbing a rock or hiking or pitching a tent. So that's what I associate with landscape.
Yeah, I think it's. And Francesca, maybe you want to chime in on that more, and who the clients would be for a landscape. Is it something like Bill was talking about, like textures that would be part of a brand narrative advertising campaign, or would it be more fine art?
Yeah, it would be that, but I mean, most of my clients are national tourism administration, and in my experience, these kind of people, they are so busy, they don't need, at least in Europe. I'm I mean, I'm Italian, but I live in Paris, so let's talk about Europe in my case. I know for experience that they don't even have the time to go on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, whatever you want. And so what I see is that 99% of the photographers in Europe, they believe that their only chance is to go on YouTube and make videos about teaching photography. Otherwise, they cannot make any money. But the reality is that each national tourism office is dying to find good photographers. I'm so busy with a few of them, of major countries in Europe, that I don't even have the time to look for other clients. This is also why I never did anything with wonderful machine. I mean, I never asked anything, and I'm in science, I don't know, 3 years, something like that, because there is this very bizarre thing that is happening in Europe. People believe that everything is on social media, when the reality is that the people who actually look for good travel photographers or landscape photographers, because most of the things I photograph in the end is landscape, they don't even have the time to go on social media. This is why I was asking if in your experience for travel and landscape photographers, this is really, this really works.
Yeah, I think it would go back to then who that client is. it sounds like it could be a lot of travel and hospitality brands.
No, these are national tourism board, like the Irish tourism board, the French tourism board, the Spanish tourism board. These are the ministry of tourism of countries. So these people, as I said, they are so busy. The photo editors, the people that manage photographers, they are so busy that most of them, they do burnouts each year. So they change people because the people in charge has done a burnout. And when I hear these stories from these people that now I know after years working with them very well, for me it's crazy because I see all these people trying to do photography. And then I know that in Europe, the people who have to look for photographers are doing constantly, but are in constant burnout, as if they don't find the right people. And it is true that I mean, there are so many people that they don't want to go on internet. They try to in fact, I found these clients out of luck in a way. They were looking for images of certain places, and I happened to have them, and they happened to see my images, and they happened to call me. They saw my name on the copyright. They called me and they said, "Can you do this trip for us?" And I said yes, and I did the first one, and they never let me go. So I'm just saying that all this, I have this feeling that all this concentration, all this focus on social media, I believe that the golden egg may be somewhere else. At least for me, it is the golden egg.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think LinkedIn is the one, the outlier with social media where you are using it to prospect individual people. So if you can find the creative director or the marketing director at a tourism board, then you can approach them individually. Whereas if you're just putting your work out there on social media and hoping somebody finds it, you're going to be one of millions of photographers taking that approach. So I think so. Is it fair to say that if those people who are very busy, if they got an email promotion, for an individual email promotion from you, or maybe even better, a printed promotion from you that landed on their desk, they would probably be very happy to see that.
I believe so. In fact, this is something I would like to try, but I never had the time to do it because luckily I've been so busy. And the funny thing is that now that COVID is here, I mean, last year things have been even crazier. So they need even more because they know that as soon as the pandemic will stop, they will start the race of, hey, come and visit our country. Don't go to our neighbor. Just come to our, especially in Europe, where every country is so close. Now I know in US it's completely different, but so it's just. But you are totally right. This is actually what I ask myself as well. If I show them a portfolio of images only about their country, what they will do. And yeah, unfortunately, fortunately, I didn't have the time to do this experience yet. But yeah.
And Francesco, do you find that when you're talking to these clients, have you asked them what is their normal process for looking for photographers?
Yes, and they told me we don't look in agency anymore because it's too tiring for us, but these are not agency like Wonderful Machine. These are, I mean, they meant stock agency. They meant or stock agency that also give you the possibility to book photographers. So I don't think this is for companies like Wonderful Machine.
So what do you think that we should be doing to increase the chances of our photographers getting selected for those types of from those types of clients?
I believe, and this is something I also brought up to Jenna and another person who, at the moment I don't remember, who was in a meeting with me like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I don't remember. But what I think is very much possible is to propose photographers to countries like Canada, the US, Mexico, and see what they say. Because in my experience, as I said, they need these images because they have a budget. Every year they have a budget they have to spend. So the money is there, and most of the time it goes to Getty or iStock, and they are never happy about the images because they cannot get a constant quality of images across the board, across the whole country. And this is what is happening with me with some countries here in Europe, that they basically said, we only want to work with you because now we are forced to use your quality, because as soon as we put the quality of someone else, it's, even if it's a good image, the color are different, the editing is different, the composition is different, everything breaks down. And we don't want that. We want to show always the same standard. So not all countries believe like this, because I had other meetings with other countries that basically said, no, we are just going to buy the images on Getty, so don't even bother, meeting us, and that's fine. But some other countries are going in a completely different direction. It would be great if you can take my images that I've done in some countries in Europe and show to other countries, and this would be a dream. But as I said, I never dare to ask you this or to talk with you, because I never had the time. And now it came up this opportunity. I just hung out here in this chat because you said that if we wanted to talk about something else, and I kind of hoped the conversation would go in this way. So I'm happy that you took that question that I wrote in the beginning, and now we're talking about this.
Yeah, well, we're constantly trying to figure out how to separate those clients. What you described, I think, applies to so many different industries, where some individual clients have a high regard for photography and it's really important to them, and others don't care and are happy to buy a cheap picture on a stock site. So what our approach is to do the research and then to get in touch with the people and just try and start a conversation and to find the ones that really do care about photography. And it is in some ways like finding a needle in a haystack. But I feel like with our team, we've got 10 people now in different ways connecting with clients. And I feel like we have a good chance of gathering up those good ones.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, but Nadia can certainly help you if you'd like to work with her on some specific research that's specific to you, or a marketing campaign specific to the tourism industry.
Yeah, definitely. Feel free to email me.
That's great. Thank you.
All right, great.
Andrew in his meeting.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave and go do my meeting with Andrew. You guys can. Is there anybody else have any other questions? James or Francesco or Eric? Anybody? All right. Well, it was fun. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thanks so much.
We'll see you next month.
Nice to see you guys. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Bye.